So we got our picture out of the way. And actually, the picture wasn't my idea either. The first one we did, I think, was with Brian QLA Rose's group, I think. Was that it? Yeah, I think so. Anyway, and actually the T-shirts that we have, just fucking do it, what would Dan do, etc., wasn't my idea. That was a wealth banker from Switzerland, who actually gave me a T-shirt with some of those sayings on it, and then they all signed it, which is framed outside my office now. And as I already said, the Hall of Fame, the influencers in the Hall of Shame was not my idea either. That was one of my Hall of Famers who had been here many, many times, and also that I've been in business with personally for about 10, 11, 12 years. So some of the ideas that have developed, morphed, pivoted from, have been your ideas. And that's what, I was just looking at the video that's on YouTube from yesterday when I was beating my chest about how important the Dream Team is, and that the ideas and the connections, etc., that you'll get. I just got an email. I was reading my emails that one of the kids, one of the youths, was telling me, "You were right about so and so. Boy, he's awesome." It's not insulting. That's the wrong word. But I don't need validation for people to tell me I'm right. I really don't need that. I don't need that shit. I really don't. I never needed it, even when I was a kid. I don't need that reinforcement where you've been taught, we'll tell Rich he's a good boy and you can do anything you want. I didn't need that shit. I didn't. Again, I don't know why. Well, one, I didn't get it. So maybe that's why I don't need it. He said that this, and he's a retired Deloitte Big Four accounting partner. He said this guy's really awesome, and because he's doing some really spectacular things and made some spectacular connections for that particular group. And as I was telling you, it's interesting the way the groups or the Dream Teams don't all bond the same way. It depends on the seniority of the Dream Team. And once in a while you get lucky again, serendipity, they knew each other. Or they met you 20 years ago in a deal. Or they met you a month ago, and that's a month ago in a deal. And then, so then there's some mutual respect between the parties. Because, they look at the CVs, the resumes, and they see that, you've got a certain level of expertise. In the Dream Team, they're not worried about somebody's going to embarrass them because of their lack of knowledge in the Dream Team, because all these guys and gals are senior. They all got 10, 20, 30, 40 years experience. Better 20, 30, 40 years experience. So they're not worried about the guy's going to, go to do something stupid. Occasionally, some of the Dream Team members are worried about me because my reputation will precede itself, because sometimes some guy will know me from Houston in my aggressive days, and they'll say, well, fuck, I wonder how much he's calmed down, or if he's calmed down, and which I have. But, when you were talking about Houston, I was a crazy man in those days. I was a fucking crazy man. And I used to go to auctions, and March of Dime was my favorite auction, and I still remember they have a blind auction, where they put all the shit down that you just put a bid on, and then the live auction where like as you raise your card. And so in the blind auction, I'm walking through the line in Houston with my wife and the most prominent attorney in town. His wife takes these big diamond shits and she says, "How do you like them?" And the guy, who's really outspoken guy, ripped them off of her bosom. Those diamonds need to have a pair of tits, honey. This is Texas. and he throws them to me. He says, put them on your wife's tits. We bought them. Anyway. But, I mean, that's Texas. You know? Boom. Those are for a pair of tits, honey. Throws them to me. Because my wife's going, you know? Who, me? Who, me? But that's very Texas. And but I fit right in, you know. But I'm like a chameleon. When I was in New York City, I fit in, and everybody's pushy. And when I went there as a kid, in my mid-20s, they're going to eat you alive in New York. They're going to eat you alive. Well, that didn't happen. And when I went to Texas, I didn't know anything about the oil business. I used to tell people that I didn't know enough to put on the top of that pen about the oil business. In fact, that's a little too big an end of a pen for me to know anything, that tip. Of course, they all thought I was bullshitting. They all thought that I was looking for either sympathy, and Texas is no place to look for sympathy. I'll tell you that right now. And that he was really, he really had done a lot of investment banking deals in the oil business, yada yada, which I hadn't. And he wants us to lower our guard. So that worked really to my benefit because they didn't try to beat me up as much as if they had thought I was a virgin, they would have fucking beat me like a rented mule. And I tell the story. Our head of exploration, Jimmy, was late. His plane's late. In those days, it's probably one of our planes. But anyway, before I got rid of him, and we had to give a presentation to a bunch of geophysicists and geologists and all these good old boys. And so this was before PowerPoint. This was when you have flip charts, big flip charts. And so I'm in front of the room, and I said, well, Jimmy's not here. And we wait 5 or 10 minutes, and I said, well, I'll give the presentation. So I started talking about the deal and the prospects generically, trying to get through it. And, well, come on, Jesus, because they thought I was an oil guy. Come on, Dan. I mean, don't be so polite. Just get to, where's the fucking beef? I mean, tell us. So I put the geophysical charts up, and I go through about 20, 25 minutes of the presentation. And about 18, 20 minutes into the presentation, Jimmy shows up in the back of the room. Well, I'm not going to stop now. And he says, he's going like this. Because I didn't know, and this is the God's truth, I didn't know that oil and gas came up the same hole. Out of a well, oil and gas come up the same hole, and there's a separator. Sometimes it's only oil, sometimes it's just gas, sometimes, but it's mostly both. It's a fucking separator that separates the oil into the gas. I thought it was 2 fucking holes. Now, I didn't know that. May God strike me fucking dead. And Jimmy's in the back of the room. And, I can't see too good far distance. So I just keep going, and I'm in the geophysical, and the formation's this, and the substrata, and everything gets done. I had the charts upside down. Now that's what the motherfucking geophysical charts were upside fucking down. Now I always said the oil business was a scam, a con. I knew it then. And they're telling me that's the best goddamn presentation. Motherfucking charts upside down. And Jimmy said, I don't know how the fuck, didn't anybody question it? No. But part of it, my power of presence. They may have thought, Leonard may be an engineer, drilling engineer for 20 years, and he looks at it, but he'll have doubt because he'll think, well, Peña, he must know. There must be some new shit out that I'm not aware of. And they were just coming out with directional drilling and that kind of shit in those days. And Leonard wouldn't ask me a question. He wouldn't have. Just a power presentation, And Jimmy said, oh, you're the luckiest fucker. I mean, I can't believe nobody questioned you. Well, nobody did. And I said, well, and from that day forward, when I go to the geophysicist and I'd walk around the office and I'd sit down almost every night, and I'd sit down with somebody and I'd go around their office, and because I used to work till about 9 o'clock every night, because I was living in Houston by myself, I had nothing else to do, and then I go to dinner. I go to Tony's for dinner, and until our house was done, I used to live in the Four-Leaf Tower, I think, the penthouse of Four-Leaf Tower. It's still there, and I go down and I ask, well, what are you doing today? What are you doing? I go around. Now, all the human resource people used to say the only reason to work until 9 then because they know you're going to be there. Otherwise, they wouldn't. And when I come in on Saturday, 40% of the parking lot would be full, our slots, because they knew I was coming in. That's what they say. And I come in on Sunday, 20% of the parking spots would be full. And I'd go around and I'd sit down and each one, or who was there, or who was in town. But that presentation was the biggest kick in the pants and in those days we were able to raise all the money we needed. Of course, I went and got JAPEX, Japanese National Oil Company. And of course, racist, and I'm not saying all the Texans were racist then, but a lot of them were, and they didn't want to do business with the Japanese. And they called them something else other than Japanese. I ain't gonna take their fucking money, no matter what. Fuck them. Well, I'll take the fucking devil's money. I don't give a shit. And then when we were partners with them for several years, and we drilled we found a lot of grease, and that's what they call oil grease. And there were guys in Houston that couldn't find enough grease to comb their hair. That was the joke. If a guy had a bad expiration record, you couldn't find enough. That boy hadn't found enough grease to comb his fucking hair. On a Brill cream thing. That's it. Okay. And then, of course, we were partners for many years with the Kuwaiti government. We ain't gonna date the goddamn Kuwaits, goddamn ragheads. As God is my witness, that's how they talked. Now I'm gonna get some bad fucking emails from the you fuckers saying that ain't true. We ain't racist down here in Texas. Well, 30 fucking years ago, you ask your daddy. And I had so much fucking fun with those guys. And you could yank their fucking chain like crazy. And goddamn, they used to say, I hate that fucking Mexican. Which is me. Mexican. Fucking Mexican. Goddamn, how'd you get so fucking lucky? What's that goddamn limo? I used to have the longest limo in Texas. The longest motherfucking limo. That's saying something in Texas. And it said GWRI on the license plate. How'd that Mexican get so fucking lucky and he's driving that goddamn car he's just like urinating on us? And we had 3 sunroofs in the car. It was stretched so far. 3 fucking sunroofs and 3 electric bars. Because I didn't want my boys to have to lean too far to get a goddamn drink. And I used to just lay it on them. Fuck. Lay it on. And so then my guys would say, well, Dan, we shouldn't get rid of all these fucking planes then if you want to really lay it on them. And I said, no, we used to buy a company and we'd sell the plane, maybe not the next week, but we'd sell it off pretty soon. And then most of the guys had jet planes that, the little jets you got to crawl around like this. And he says, oh, man, Peña got a jet, you can stand up like a goddamn man. Like the G4s and, the big plane. Like a goddamn man. What kind of a fucking pussy car is that? A pussy plane. Unless you've been there, unless you've gone through it. Of course, they had a lot of respect for Dry Hole Dyke. That boy found some grease in his time. He found the North Sea, right? That boy found some fucking grease in his time. Oh, God. Had a lot of fucking fun. Made a lot of fucking money. YouTubers, that's what it's all about. A lot of fucking fun and a lot of fucking money. See you later.